Alright, it's time to do another character's rankings, this time on the best friend of Arc 5, Sora Shiunin, or Perse if you're watching the dub. And some people can argue that it's Gongenzuka instead, considering the relationship of the characters in the anime, but considering that he did not show up in the manga while Sora did, makes me more likely to think that he's meant to be the best friend. He has both a 2400 attack and 2800 attack ace monster, which is basically the standard of all the best friends / second rival, and in a way, Sora is technically both. Some people can also argue Shingo, considering that he showed up in the manga as well, but Shingo doesn't have a 24 or 2800 attack point ace monster like the rest of the best friends, although that wasn't really a standard until 5Ds, so it's a little weird. And Dual Monsters has Joey with a 24 and a 28 with Kill for the Lightning and Red Eyes, so choosing the best friend for Arc 5 is a little bit of an awkward situation, but I still technically will say it's Sora since the attack point base ever since 5Ds, and also manga reasons because he showed up in the manga as well. And usually the best friend will be showing both anime and manga. But anyway, like usual, I rank these ace monsters based on base form first in anime appearances, evolve form second, but in this case there is no evolve forms because none of them have evolve forms, so base forms only. And technically his rankings is going to be all Fright first or Destoy because his whole archetype is that deck, in which his main ace monsters are Chimera, Saber-toothed Tiger, Leo, Tiger, and Bear. So with the ace monsters out of the way, let's begin. And no, they're not all dragons, unfortunately, but I do like the concept of them of being destroying toys and even menacing ones, so I kind of like the idea here. But anyway, just remember this is all based on my opinion, and let's begin. On the bottom of my list, it's Fright Tiger. A very menacing look, especially being a toy. I love the scissor limbs and the scissor belly. I just like how the Frightfurs or Destoys are pretty much nice looking toys, just, well, when they become fusion monsters, they become a bit of a horrifying mess, and I love that. For Tiger, it just looks menacing, especially the eyes behind the mask, basically, the scissor limbs, and the belly. A little goofy, but at the same time, it just looks very menacing and scary, just horrifying, basically. And that's going to be the theme of Sora's ace monsters here. Spoiler alert. Not saying that this is the worst design I ever seen, it's just not as cool as the other ones, because that's going to be the theme of this one. And then number 4, Frightfur Bear. Scissor belly, scissor limbs. Color scheme looks better than Tiger, which is why this is higher. I love the eyes within the mouth section. That actually just looks scary every time I see it. I just like the idea of the Frightfurs here, or this toy. The scissor limbs in the theme of pretty much all of them just looks very scary, especially that it doesn't look like you want to get near it. And the look of the eyes looking like they're going to pop. I just like that look right there because it just looks very scary. Overall, not much different from Tiger. It's basically a plush toy with some scary looking scissors just exposed to it. But I think the color scheme of Bear just looks better, so I just prefer Frightfur Bear. And then we go to number 3, Saber-toothed Tiger. Once again, the scary look of the eyes within the mouth, the popping looking eyes of the toy itself, but one thing I really like about this one is the blades over its body. Once again, it doesn't look like you really want to get near it. I like the blue color scheme of Saber Tiger. The blade spikes all over its body just makes it look scary. The jaws within the mouth with eyes exposing also look scary. I just love the aesthetic there. And the horn blades. I love the horn blades. Almost looks like something stabbed through it when there's really nothing. It's literally part of the body. Although I would like some of the scissor themes, although I prefer the non-scissor limbs, but the scissor belly, because I would have loved it if they kept it on this, just for the theming. Number 2, Frightfur Leo. This one looks very scary considering that it has a chainsaw for a body, and in fact that chainsaw is what's holding the limbs, so it's actually quite scary that it could just walk through you and just kill you. The chainsaw's all over its face is very scary too. I love the look of that. The claws, yeah, the blade claws just make it look very scary too, especially the bandages. It almost looks like it's a murderous toy, and I just love the look of it. Jaws look great as well, considering that the fact that there's chainsaws all over it and just opens up like that. Yeah, imagine getting near this looking innocent and then suddenly just looks scary. Also, the white color scheme does make it look innocent, and just out of nowhere, this just happens. Also, I kind of like that it went through the eyes too, even scarier. Although number 1 is the most messed up looking one, which is his main ace, Chimera. Yes, it has 3 heads, hence why it's named Chimera, but I really like this one because it looks like a fusion of 3 different toys, which is basically what it is, all messed up into one. And that's what I like about this one. Remember, Frightfur is supposed to look innocent, but in reality, they're actually very messed up up, and this one just looks very messed up and menacing. Not only for the 3 heads, which is basically the fusion of bear and 2 other toys that I can't exactly tell, but the way how this toy is just exposed and all messed up, all mashed up together, just looks a little freaky. I love the head design on the bear, by the way, especially those horns. It kind of just looks a little scary to look at. And then the messed up look of the other 2, yeah, great. And I definitely have to say the most messed up look of all the ace monsters for the Frightverse or Sora. So that's it for these rankings for Sora's ace monster. What do you guys think of it, and how would you rank them? A little weird to rank this one considering that I'm not the biggest fan of Frightverse or this toy, other than the concept of it, innocent toys just actually being menacing. I kind of like the messed up look that this toy kind of just brings out, but in that, this is not my favorite theme of any of the best friend aces, or even their decks overall, but overall still a cool concept. Now, like I said, Gongensaka can technically be still considered best friend, but considering that he did not show up in the manga, while also not having a 2800 attack ace monster that is his base, it's a little bit weird spot when it comes to Arc 5. But Sora was both anime and manga, and he technically has both, but not playing Pendulum, so that's another weird situation because Arc 5 is the Pendulum summoning anime. So there can be a little bit of an argument of who's the best friend of Arc 5. But I have to say Sora for anime and manga reasons. But probably eventually I'm going to go to the rest of the main cast just because to be fair, they can also be considered best friends. But on that's it for this, and we got one more best friend to go through from Dual Monsters to Vrains, and that will be Soulburner.